Ongama, it's like watching the implosion of the DA very slowly but very surely.
It's very interesting. There's a theory that when political parties seemingly consolidate their power, what then starts to happen is they disintegrate or they start fighting internally in ways that compromise their hold or their continued hold on a particular municipality, province, or a country. We've seen this with the ANC, that the reason why it ended up losing, it was mainly not because of the strength of the opposition. It was mainly an implosion, as you put it, that resulted in them actually ending up losing key provinces, key municipalities throughout the country.
Yeah, I mean, you heard Patricia de Lille's resignation, what was meant to be her resignation speech. There was a lot of talk about racists within the party who are trying to tarnish her name, who are trying to tarnish her reputation. In fact, the DA Chief Whip Shaun August saying the same thing as he announced his resignation as councillor, as Chief Whip, and as a DA member. Ongama, as you see it, what are these key issues that the Democratic Alliance is really struggling to come to terms with as an opposition?
So, first of all, how de Lille has framed her departure from the mayoral office as well as Shaun August kind of crystallizes a message which was being managed up to now about whether or not it was because the DA was being racist and failing to accommodate the new leaders that are not white. So in doing that, it actually consolidates the view that this move may actually alienate the colored vote in Cape Town. And you remember that this is a very important constituency in the Western Cape. To come back to your question, I think what we may begin to see is that there may be a decrease in the support base of the Democratic Alliance. I don't believe that it will be in huge numbers yet, unless maybe the opposition finds a way to capitalize on this loss. And also depending on what Patricia de Lille's next move, what may be voters that are standing currently in the middle between continuing to support the party and leaving with her will depend on what her next move is politically.
I mean, I suppose the question is whether these efforts for transformation within the official opposition are merely cosmetic.
There's been a very strong view about that, especially when one looks at, for example, who are the power brokers within the party and who tends to wield the most power. So far, it's remained untransformed. Even with Musimaimane there has been a lot of attempts to actually neutralize him. And in fact, there's been questions about how effective he has been as a leader. But I think to say that the party is static would be to oversimplify it, because I mean, in the past Congress, for example, there was a resolution that was a slight breakthrough for those that are pushing for greater transformation in the party. So it's not static, but transformation within the DA is being contested by vested interests that have enjoyed the party's standing as the official voice of the opposition, not one that wants to be more broad church in terms of attracting the wider support of South Africans.
Ongama, the proposition for the Democratic Alliance, was it not an easy one? We've seen the Pandora's box of state capture being opened wide with a whole range of really horrific things coming to the fore over the past months. This is under the watch of the governing party. As the DA, was it not an easy proposition going forward? Keep your own business together in the party. Let's take it forward to elections 2019.
Absolutely. So in fact, in my view, they were selling an ideal of a clean government, as a response to state capture, neo-patrimonialism, and all the negative things that were happening during the past 9 years, in fact, throughout. But one of the things about the DA, in terms of its value proposition, it first needed to build itself up as an organization that represented what that was the home of minorities, and it got this in 2004 when its support increased from about 16% in 1999 to over 22%, if my memory serves me well. So the first breakthrough for it was to become the official home of minorities in the country. But the next issue then became whether the party was going to, as Helen Zille was pushing it towards, whether it was going to succeed to transition from that to attract a wider support base to become not just the official voice of a minority, but become the majority party. Now, the problems that it has experienced so far have resulted from its half-hearted way in which it was pursuing that strategy. Because while it wanted to attract the wider public, it still had entrenched the idea that the party was the official voice of only the minority. So that's where, for me, you know, the failure has been the failure to transition to become a party that accommodates the wider majority, to look the part and also speak the part, because you couldn't become a majority party in South Africa while retaining the strong liberalist ideas about, for example, transformation, affirmative action, BEE, and those types of things. So my response to your question is that there was an issue about indeed the character of government as it was under the ANC in the past many years, but also there was an inherent political issue the DA was dealing with of how far does it transition as a part, transform itself as a party to meet the politics of a broad church organization.
Well, that story is still continuing to unfold there in DA council chambers. As always, thanks very much for your time.